We got a little bit of seriousness here. That all that said, so I changed my background to the artwork of Kevin Rashid Johnson, who is I'm just, for the lack of a better phrase, a new wave or second generation political prisoner, somebody like others who was politicized after being incarcerated, someone who I've had the pleasure of trying to support in little ways, working with, being in contact with. And we got a couple of he's continues to suffer. And so there's a number of updates we want to bring. So we have a couple of his supporters and crew to join us for a few minutes. Garlic Jr., welcome. And is Shupavu ready? And Shupavu wa Karima, good to see you again. Welcome. I thought if you could both just say a little more about who each of you are, and then tell us in a quick summary about Kevin's background, catch up our audience on who he is, and then of course we'll get into the update. But again, welcome. Good to see you both. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Shupavu, you want to start off? Yeah, tell us a little bit about who you are and of course who Kevin is, and maybe a little bit of the backstory as to how we got where we are.
Sure. First, want to thank you for allowing us to come onto your platform and speak about this. You've always been a great comrade and supporter of Rashid and our party, so we really appreciate that. My name is Shupavu wa Karima. I am the General Secretary of the Revolutionary Intercommunal Black Panther Party. Rashid serves as our defense minister. He is a longtime politicized prisoner, as most people who are familiar with him know. He's also a prison journalist, revolutionary artist, and writer, just gifted with many talents. And he is under persecution from the Virginia Department of Corrections yet again. So I'm gonna give Garlic an opportunity to introduce himself before I get too deep into what's going on, because it's a lot.
Right. Hey, I'm Maurice Garlic Jr. I'm the Minister of Justice in the Revolutionary Intercommunal Black Panther Party. I'm located here in New York City. Yeah, that's all about me. You can go ahead, Shupavu.
So we really wanted to take this opportunity to come on and talk about what's happening currently in the state of Virginia, Rashid's home state. As many of you know, he has been subject to multiple interstate compact transfers, which is a tactic that prison departments of correction use to disrupt support and organizing efforts for mostly politicized prisoners, people who speak out against the injustices and things that are going on. So Rashid's been from state to state multiple times. He's been under all types of torturous practices and abuse, and he's finally back in Virginia. He was recently transferred, it was a retaliatory transfer to Red Onion State Prison, which is one of the state's supermaxes. I think it's one of two, Red Onion and Wallens Ridge. These are very brutal institutions that are typically built in old mining towns in the mountains, all white populations. The only Black people in the towns are typically the prisoners that they traffic to these towns. Rashid was transferred sometime in November after a street weapon was planted in his cell. That was the premise that they used to transfer him. Basically, this transfer was because, as most of you all know who know Rashid was diagnosed with cancer, prostate cancer, and then subsequently congestive heart failure. And he has continuously posted and published about his journey trying to get medical care, life-saving medical care. And he's also written exposés about other prisoners who have been struggling against the system to get medical care specifically. They basically came to Rashid and told him, "You were too expensive. We're tired of you. We're not doing this anymore." The radiation treatments that came like a year and a half after he had been having prostate cancer, without them telling us that he had prostate cancer. They did a few sessions of those. The doctor he saw discovered that he had congestive heart failure, wrote an article and an order for him to see a specialist about that. The Department of Corrections in Virginia has ignored all of that. They put him in long-term solitary that they have renamed restorative housing, but it's the same thing. And he's been left to just basically rot there. They told him if he did not stop publishing articles about what was going on, that he could expect more repression. And this latest transfer is, an example of that.
Right on, thanks. Garlic, as you jump in, say whatever you like, but if you or both of you could add in a little bit, I'm interested in this phrase you're using, politicized prisoner, and how that differs from the traditional political prisoner, and maybe talk a little bit about Rashids' story, how we again got to the point where he's incarcerated and then becomes this politicized prisoner.
I would think that a politicized prisoner opposed to a political prisoner, like the difference is a political prisoner would be dedicated to the struggle, is involved in the movement before the imprisonment, right? And so, like, even with one of the tenets of our group is turning the razor wire plantations into schools of liberation. A politicized prisoner is someone that came to the political revolutionary spirit within the prison walls while not being political upon entering.
Right on.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Can one of you go into his backstory in terms of who he is, how he got politicized in prison, became a part of the organization or started the organization? I'm not sure which, but could you talk a little bit more about that as a background so our audience can get to know him?
Sure. Rashid was like most urban youth of his time, and this time too. He was involved in, petty crime, drug dealing, things like that. He was incarcerated at the age of 18 or 19. He received, I think, a double life or triple life sentence plus 40 years. He came to the realization that, this was not the way to go once inside prison. He had to do something. Not much hope left when you're, given a life sentence, let alone 2 or 3. And the way he found meaning in his life was to, help others. He stumbled upon some literature. I believe George Jackson may have been the first thing he encountered. Then some Mao. He's actually a Maoist. And it just took off from there. That became the thing that just kind of burned in him and propelled him forward. And one thing that he's always done at every turn was try to share that knowledge, and fight for other people. And that's really placed the biggest target on his back. The system hates collective thinking, collective work, collective organizing. Rashid would have probably been much better off and had a much easier time of it if he had only ever been pushing for his own comfort or his own well-being or a better position within whatever prison he found himself in. But he cannot mind his own business. And I say that half jokingly, but seriously, Rashid is always fighting for somebody. It's always somebody that he comes across, a relationship that he forms inside, and it becomes a campaign for our party to fight for something for someone else. And, they hate that. They've tried everything imaginable to separate him. They've planted stories with other prisoners trying to have other people attack him and, shun him. It's never worked. If you've ever met Rashid, you understand it. He just has this overwhelming love for other people. It's truly inspiring.
And we've read about, the reports, I'm sorry, Kim, just the having locks ripped out of his head, denied food and medical attention, left on the cell floor with no blankets, no mattress, no clothes.
Strapped to beds with the windows in the cell broke out in freezing temperatures. Just extreme brutality that most people will never see. So it's hard to understand someone enduring something like that and still staying committed to those revolutionary values and principles. This is why we have to protect Rashid, because he fights for all of us. It's crucial. If we allow the state to silence someone like him, I just don't even have any words for that. Two things he wanted me to stress is that this is retaliation for him speaking out. They want to stop all communication from Rashid. They've cut off his tablet, so he has no way to email. He has phone privileges, has been taken away. They're censoring his mail. Not much makes it in or out. So we have really no way, unless a prisoner calls me, and he may shout through a vent, or he may have someone give me a call to let me know what's happening. The last report I got was Monday, I believe, Monday or Tuesday. The days are running together because it's a lot going on. But Rashid and about 30 other people at Red Onion State Prison have been on a hunger strike since December 26th, a day after Christmas. The last report I got was several days ago, and he had missed 63 total meals since December 26th. He's lost about 30 pounds. They've got him in the medical wing. He goes a few days without taking water as well. This is extremely dangerous for someone who is still battling cancer and congestive heart failure. And also the other people who have joined in this fight that are incarcerated that may not have his political understanding. I really want to salute those comrades and not solely focus the light on Rashid, but talk about them as well and the sacrifices that they're making right now. But they don't have the support base that Rashid has.
Yeah, I wanted to stress too, a lot of the things that Rashid has been put through isn't just only on Rashid. This is the common practice between all prisoners that aim to organize in some sort of way collectively, whether we deem them revolutionary or not. If they are going against the system that the prison has created, they are being retaliated against in the same sort of way. They're being punished. I know in Red Onion too, they have like a finger breaking policy, essentially, of whenever they deem you to be violent, which is at any point they say, that's the move they go to. They just go and break your fingers or something. That's like a tactic they use. So it's like, Rashid. Even though we're talking about Rashid right now, this is like an overall. This is an overall prison conversation. This is talking about the injustices of the prison system as it stands right now.
This is the culture of the prison system in this country. People die, people disappear. I really appreciate Garlic's interjection, because that's the truth. A lot of people, unless you're involved in this work in some type of way, you don't get it. People don't understand. There's absolute power for these racist guards and COs in these prison systems that are in many times in like former sundown towns. These are people who maybe have never encountered a Black person before in their life, outside of this situation with them being over them as a guard. So yeah, the finger breaking, the toe breaking, that's a thing they do. They'll rush into a cell and yell, stop resisting, even though the person may be cuffed, on their belly, completely subdued, and they'll bend their fingers and toes back until they break. It's not uncommon at all.
With the extremely cold temperatures that we've had here on the East Coast, I'm just thinking about Rashid and everybody else that's incarcerated in these places, and just what extreme temperatures, cold, everything that they're experiencing really from across the seasons. But just for more context about Rashid and who he is, because we have a big East Coast audience here, and I'm sure we have a lot of people watching from Virginia. Whereabouts from Virginia is he from? How long has he been incarcerated, and how old is he? And in what ways can we on the outside support him as he's still taking these deeply revolutionary stands while still behind the wall?
Rashid has been, he's originally from Richmond, Virginia. That's where he grew up. He is about 53 or 54 right now. So this is an elder at this point. I think it's interesting to think of Rashid in that way, because he Garlic is laughing because yeah.
I mean, I'm feeling a kind of way about that too.
No, sir, I laughed because of Jared Ball's,
like,
because Dr.
listen,
Ball's reaction. Dr. Ball
listen.
got
I'm
me.
like, elder, like why? I mean,
This
I didn't
no,
want to.
you're still very youthful. You got it. You got yeah. But no, Rashid has been fighting these people since he was 18, 19 years old. He's been locked down for over 30 years, 34, 33, a long time. And so, you know, he is not, the how he used to be 19, 20, going head to head with these people. Um, this system ages people, the food, the filthy, unsanitary conditions, the brown, rusted water that comes out of the fall. I mean, this is some place that, really takes its toll on a person. And so, if I could impress anything um, upon anyone listening to this, we have to start caring about our prisoner population. We have to take a stand and figure out what is going on in these institutions that our tax dollars fund. This is not okay. And once the people decide, that something has to change, I fully believe that not one single thing is insurmountable. This entire thing will come to a halt as soon as we decide that it's intolerable and it can no longer be. People literally die in these places. There are numerous instances of, guards beating people to death or leaving people in showers, super hot showers, until they fall out. And, things are classified as suicide or drug-induced deaths. And no, these are crazy, racist, barely literate, mountain, hillbillies that are coming into these institutions and killing our people for sport. And that should be appalling and upsetting for all of us.
Wow, right on. Listen, so what exactly is, is there a particular call to action? What is it that we are asking folks to do? And yeah.
We're asking people to please call and email the Virginia Department of Corrections and the governor's office, Governor Youngkin. Today, particularly, we're trying to have a huge push today on Thursday to make these calls. We're not reaching out to Red Onion State Prison. It does nothing to reach out to the prison itself. We're contacting the Department of Corrections in Virginia and the governor. We're asking them to stop this restorative housing, this long-term segregate or solitary confinement that has been shown, is damaging. It's dangerous. It has been shown to cause and increase mental illness. They're actually long-term isolation actually shrinks parts of the brain, like physically. This is something that has to stop. So we're asking for people to call, email. You don't have to be a speech maker. You don't have to, be eloquent. Call up there, say, hey, I support the Red Onion State Prison hunger strikers, and I'm calling for an end to long-term solitary confinement. And we're also asking that Rashid be transferred back to a prison where he can receive the medical treatment that he needs. He still has cancer and he's got congestive heart failure. He's somewhere up in the mountains. There's no major medical facility that can address anything that he's going through right now. So all of his cancer treatment and his appointments about his heart have stopped. There's been absolutely no medical treatment since his transfer.
Do you have those numbers to give?
Yeah, Kim, sorry. I've put them on the screen and dropped the link in the chat. So the contact for Governor Youngkin and Virginia's Department of Corrections on the screen. If you're watching this later, you can just pause the screen and get the numbers. The link is in the chat as well.
For people who may not be able to
yeah.
read the screen, can we please read out the numbers?
Sure. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. The numbers. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead, Kamal. If you had it. Anyway, I got it. It's right here in front of me.
I'm so sorry. Glenn Youngkin is 804-786-2211. That's 804-786-2211. And then it says Beth Cable Division of Institutions is 804-834-9967. That's 804-834-9967. Sorry about
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Right on.
I also want to add really
yeah.
quickly, if people want to help, if they want to get involved in what we're doing, they can reach out to me. Facebook is probably the easiest way. My email is difficult. But if you look up my name, Shapavu Wakarima, send me a message and we'll loop you in. And we've got plenty of work to do. So anybody who wants to get involved with this, just to please contact me.
And if anybody has difficulty with that, reach out to me and I'll put you in touch as well. So
Thank you.
So listen, Shapavu Garlic, thank you very much for coming through. We're happy to host updates anytime and talk more, but just wanted to thank you very much for the work and for keeping us in the loop. You know?
Of course,
Thank you
thanks
all
for
so
inviting
much.
us.
Absolutely. We appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, everybody. We'll be back here in a second. More Remix Morning Show here at BPM. Please do what you can to support. Back in a second. All right, back the Remix Morning Show. Kim Brown, Kamal Franklin, Jared Ball, Ear Doctors in the Wind. Anyway, yeah. Thanks to Shapavu Garlic and to the remixers for anything we can all do to add another to the list of things that and people that need support. It's terrible stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kim, did you have a story or Jared, you had
I got one more, but
Yeah,
Kim,
yeah.
if you got something, we could get to that too.
I did. Kamal, it's in the email that I sent yesterday.
Oh, that
And
yesterday?
and the email is titled Wednesday Remix Stories for your easily finding it, I hope.
And
But
as he's pulling oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, go ahead, Jared.
I was just gonna say, like, share, subscribe, support the platform in any way that you can, and we appreciate it as we continue to make the Remix Morning Show. Build upon it already being the best morning show on the planet, and then just expanding it. And so don't be stingy. Share it with somebody who needs a little bit of this boom bap breakfast in their life.